School lockdowns are designed to protect. That's what the protocol says. They're meant to be quiet, controlled, temporary. But for the people inside the building, they feel very different. What students experience during a lockdown often never reaches the news, because once the doors unlock and classes resume, the story is considered over. For many students, that's when it actually begins. This documentary is based on real accounts shared anonymously by former students and teachers. No names, no locations, only what they remember. Most lockdowns begin the same way, a voice over the intercom, usually calm, sometimes shaking. Teachers initiate lockdown procedures immediately. No explanation. Students are told to move away from doors and windows. Lights off, phones silent. For teenagers who've practiced this drill for years, the routine feels familiar until it doesn't. One former student described the moment like this. It was the first time the teacher didn't lock the door calmly. She slammed it. That sound told everyone something was different. In real lockdowns, time behaves strangely. Minutes feel stretched. Silence becomes heavy. Every sound suddenly matters. Footsteps in the hallway, a door closing somewhere else, a radio crackling, and the question no one asks out loud, is this real? Lockdowns are defined by waiting. Students sit on the floor, under desks, in corners. Some cry silently, some stare at nothing. Teachers count heads over and over again, not because they forget, but because it's the only thing they can control. Phones vibrate in pockets. Messages from parents arrive. Are you okay? What's happening? Please respond. But responding is forbidden. One teacher recalled scanning the faces in the room and realizing something she hadn't considered during drills. These kids actually think they might die. No one tells them what's happening, because often no one knows. Police are on the way. Administration is waiting for confirmation. Information moves slowly. Fear doesn't. Every lockdown has a moment when something breaks the silence. A loud bang, a scream, running footsteps. Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's a door being forced open 2 floors away. A former student described hearing metal scrape against tile. I remember thinking, that sound is too close. During lockdowns, the brain fills gaps aggressively. When you don't know what's happening, your mind creates possibilities, and those possibilities are rarely calm. Some students later said they imagined scenarios more terrifying than what actually occurred. Others said the opposite. I was scared because I didn't know, but when I found out later, it was worse. Lockdowns aren't always about shooters. Sometimes it's a threat nearby, a suspect in the area, a false alarm. But during the wait, the distinction doesn't matter. The body reacts the same way. Eventually, the announcement comes. All clear. Sometimes followed by applause. Sometimes by crying. Doors unlock. Lights turn on. Police officers walk through hallways that looked very different minutes ago. Administrators reassure everyone that they're safe. And technically they are, but safety isn't the same as resolution. Many students return to class the same day. Assignments continue. Tests are rescheduled. Life moves forward, but something lingers. Former students describe heightened anxiety, jumpiness at loud noises, trouble concentrating. One student said, "I couldn't sit with my back to the door anymore," even years later. Lockdowns end officially, but mentally they often don't. News coverage usually ends quickly. A headline, a brief explanation, then silence. What doesn't make headlines are the quiet changes. teachers who double-check locks obsessively, students who plan escape routes subconsciously. The normalization of fear. Drills prepare the body, but rarely the mind. And the younger the student, the deeper the imprint. Psychologists note that uncertainty is often more damaging than the threat itself. Lockdowns are built on uncertainty. That's their nature. Lockdowns save lives. That isn't in question, but the emotional cost is rarely discussed. Understanding what students actually experience isn't about fear-mongering. It's about honesty, because when we pretend these events end when the doors unlock, we miss what happens next. And for many students, what happens next shapes how they see safety, authority, and control for the rest of their lives. These stories aren't rare, they're just quiet. And every year, more are added. The question isn't whether lockdowns will continue, it's whether we'll ever talk honestly about what they leave behind.